there was quite a few interesting developments regarding Armenia and Azerbaijan, which got a little bit, in my view, didn't get as much coverage as other stuff that was discussed at the UN summit. But Armenian officials met with EU's Mr. Borrell in New York. And Armenia also told Armenian officials said ready for constructive dialogue for lasting regional peace. That's what Nikol Pashinyan, the Armenian prime minister, told the UN. So we see that. Let me read this. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has told the United Nations that his country is willing to engage in talks to achieve a sustainable peace in the South Caucasus region following the last year's war with the neighboring Azerbaijan over the region of Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenia is ready for constructive dialogue, which should lead to establishment of sustainable and lasting peace in the region. And so the signals from Armenia seem to be that they're willing for constructive and sustainable peace talks, and these are not the only signals. So we also had reports that Secretary of Armenia's Security Council also said relations with Turkey should be normalized without preconditions. A lot of hardcore sort of more nationalist factions within Armenia are saying that there should be preconditions set. And as somebody from Iran who's has listened to negotiation news for the longest time ever, I think the Armenian guy's position is correct. If you're going to negotiate, no preconditions, in my view, unless it's a war. And of course there must be a ceasefire before negotiations. Otherwise, I think whenever they discuss preconditions, it's more of a marketing thing than a PR thing rather than a real thing. So Armen Grigorian told reporters that Armenia should try to normalize relations with Turkey without any preconditions. Also, Minsk Group, whose Minsk Group is the group that is formed of Russia, France, and a few other nations, and is the main international organization pushing for Azeri-Armenian peace. They also met with Azerbaijani officials and Armenian officials, and they said they had positive and constructive talks with all of them. So, these are all good signs. We had a couple of months ago reports that Iran, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, and Russia may become part of a sort of a economic sort of a pact or economic union of some kind. So I hope, I hope that these are all. All of this will lead to something positive, especially because I feel like Nikol Pashinyan is whatever criticism of his foreign policy and stuff, he's not a corrupt politician, and it's good to see these type of politicians sort of flourish. And it's also great to see more regional cooperation in that region, because Caucasus, in my view, is a region that is it's a region more than nations. So I think regional cooperation is always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, there was the Nagorno-Karabakh war in the background of all this between Armenia and Azerbaijan about a year ago now.
I mentioned it briefly, but this is all coming as a result of the whole Nagorno-Karabakh war and Nagorno-Karabakh issue overall.
Yeah, and which Armenia kind of lost, I guess some experts
definitely lost,
because they lost control over part of that region, right?
Not only that, they lost the 7 surrounding regions. They lost half of less than half of Nagorno-Karabakh, and they were also forced to allow a corridor from Nakhjavan, which is the exclave of Azerbaijan next to Turkish border. So they have to allow a road through Armenia from that exclave to
Okay.
mainland Azerbaijan, which probably will lead to a lot of people think will lead to a gas pipeline from Baku to Turkey.
Interesting.
But if any,
Yeah,
I
no.
can move on to. So sorry, what did I? Oh,
You just turned off your video. Yeah, there you go.
oh, sorry. Yeah. I was trying to go full screen, and apologies for that. So I think this is a good segue to. So there has been increased tensions between Iran and Azerbaijan. I mean,
Oh, really?
I may be exaggerating to an extent. Apparently there was an Iranian military parade or military, I don't know, military training exercise. It's not clear because they're reporting Iranian ambassadors to Baku, to Azerbaijan, says that the reporting is not clear and is not accurate. So I'm not going to claim anything I don't know. But there were apparently some military actions taken by Iran near the borders with Azerbaijan. And you also had imams are people who lead the Friday prayers in Iran in Shia religion, and they have a lot of political and cultural influence. And two imams of Azeri speaking cities. There are, by the way, I like to point out there are more Azeris in Iran than in Azerbaijan, population wise. And the supreme leader of Iran is of Azeri origins. I am partially Azeri. I believe you are partially Azeri. So you are.
I don't know.
We discussed this before. I know your family background. Yeah. But, yes.
I don't know these
We
things possibly. Yeah. I'm
I
joking.
confirm or deny. Yeah. But like the Iranian Turk, I mean, Iranian and Turkish culture, especially Iranian Azeri culture, are so infused that it is. I mean, it's just almost you're talking about the same thing. But anyways, sorry, these two imams from Azeri regions in Iran, they were very negative about the Israeli presence in Azerbaijan because you just mentioned the Nagorno-Karabakh war. One of the factors that played an important role was Israeli. One of the factors that media at least claimed that played an important role in that war was the Israeli cooperation with Azeri forces and the drone technology that Israel and Turkey had gave to Azerbaijan. And Iran regards any Israeli presence near its borders with suspicious and animosity, obviously due to the nation's rivalry, regional rivalry. So these two imams hinted that these military parades, trainings may be sort of a show of force against Israel. Although Iranian, as I mentioned, Iranian ambassador said that the reporting about these military exercises were inaccurate to an extent. And he said our relations are as strong as ever, and this has nothing to do with Iranian relations with Baku. So
I see.
Also, just because it's not just two Iranian imams from two cities, let me just add this. Iranian lawmaker Fada Hossein Maliki, an Iranian lawmaker and a member of Iranian Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee, has warned the neighboring Republic of Azerbaijan for obstructing transit of goods between Iran and Armenia, and objected to a joint military exercise at the Iranian border by military forces of Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Pakistan. So besides the whole Israeli thing, there are all these tensions being risen between Iran and Azerbaijan because Azerbaijan is getting slightly closer to Turkey and Pakistan, Sunni nations, and Iran has very strong and close relations with Armenia. And it seems that Azerbaijan, through the corridor, which we mentioned in a previous video about Armenia, there's a corridor between an exclave of Azerbaijan to mainland Azerbaijan. it seems that Azeris are playing some, there are some tensions there with Iran. Azeri officials obviously deny that they have, they have blocked any transfer of goods between Iran and Armenia, but tensions are rising.